Amen.
Right. And it's just good for each and every one to be here, because had it been for the grace of God, none of us would have been here today. God is good all the time.
Amen.
All the time God is good. So we're going to open the Word of God, and it will be short discourse. But God have a word for each of us. This week when Kirk was looking someone to preach, and I'm like, decisions. Hence the title again, decision. Should I, shouldn't I? I got a short straw, so the decision was made. So Father, come back here now, oh Lord, and let your words reach to your people so that they too can make a wise decision to follow you, come what may. Amen. You know, most men, some women, but mostly men, they hate reading instruction manuals. Amen. Can I get an amen? Oh yeah, that's right. They have a tendency when they buy something, open the package, throw away the instruction, and begin immediately to assemble. At the end of it, they usually have to take the item apart 2 or 3 times because they find they have extra screws, extra washers, bolts when they're finished. Wouldn't it have been more beneficial if they had just actually taken the time to read the instructions and do it right the first time? I agree it may seem frustrating at times to read those detailed instructions, but those instructions were written by the people who created the product. And whether our men wants to admit it or not, the manufacturers know more about the product than they do.
Amen.
It would benefit us to learn a similar lesson concerning our spiritual lives. God gave us a book of instructions that tell us all we need to know about living a life that will be pleasing to Him. But we have a tendency to ignore God's instructions. They are detailed, but we don't have the time. When we do this, we generally find ourselves in trouble and dealing with the consequences of our actions. In times like these, we need to understand that there seem to be powers that are arrayed against us. Every demographic in society can claim this. We can't say that this is a black thing, or this is a Muslim thing or a Jewish thing anymore, because everyone is affected. There are people who don't like you. There are systems plotting against you, and everybody seems to have some unanswerable challenge. But the fact is, even now, God is able. Amen. If you are on God's side, and God is on your side, there is no problem or no one that can overcome you.
Amen.
Let Elijah remind you that as long as we trust God, God will not let us down. Ahab's wife, Jezebel, just the name is enough to send shivers down your spine. I have never heard any parent naming their daughter Jezebel. Oh, here, meet my daughter Jezebel. Never. Every other female name in the Bible has been used and reused, but not that one. Whenever we hear someone using that name, it's always in a derogatory manner. You're Jezebel, you. It's always something derogatory. The Bible warns us against being unequally yoked together with unbelievers, because God knows best. But Ahab, he chose to ignore God's advice, and he married an unbelieving woman who called the shots, so to speak. He was what we would call today, he was a wimp. And instead of standing up for God's dictates in His word, he gave in to his wife and introduced idolatry into the temple of God. They introduced the worship of Baal into God's house and led Israel into mass idolatry. Everyone has a choice, like what we spoke about this morning at the end of the day. But I guess it was easier to just go along with the masses. The question now arises, whose side will you be on? Will you just go along with the masses, or will you stand up for God? Some people want to straddle the fence. 1 minute, they want to be on God's side. The next, they're on the opposing side. When it suits them, they are Christ's followers, holier than thou on Sabbath. But at other times, it's hard to tell they actually believe in God by the way they behave. But at some point in our lives, we have to decide one way or another for or against God. And so the seed is set. It has been documented by historians that it could be understandable why some people wanted to serve Baal. In the natural world, there are some events that were attributed to Baal back then. He was the so-called god of rain, according to the pagan beliefs. Allegedly, they thought that Baal was killed by his enemy and was resurrected in the spring during the early spring rains. So because of the timing, people only need to pray to him to send rain, and the rain will come. Now the fact is, without a shadow of a doubt, God is the one who sends rain. Because in Psalm 24 verse 1, the Bible says, the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof. And also in Deuteronomy 11, 16 and 17, the Bible says that God is able to shut up heaven so that there will be no rain if and when it pleases him. So I can just imagine God showing rebellious Israel a thing or two. Okay, you think it is Baal who's sending you rain. I'll show you. I will just turn it off, and I'll see what you or Baal can do about it. So then God called his real servant Elijah, and he sent him to Ahab to remind him that God was and God is. And as what Sister Alvin says, God, large and in charge. Because of that, there'll be no rain for 3 years because God was in charge. At first, it seemed illogical to Elijah that God gave him such a message. Because en route to Ahab's palace, Elijah was passing through some well-watered rivers and streams, gardens where the plants were lush and flourishing. Yet God told him, you go tell Baal there'll be no more rain for 3 years. Can you imagine 3 years without rain? You see, brethren, things might seem illogical to us at times when God commands us. But it's only illogical to us because God, in his awesomeness, God defies logic. He made logic. So he can make things light that were heavy, and he can make things heavy light. He can make an elephant to float and a feather to sing. Remember the accent with Elisha? See, when God tells us to do something, don't wait until it becomes logical. Just do it, as Nike says. Somehow, Elijah got to be in the presence of Ahab. We don't know how he did, because he got past the guards that were stationed at the door. He arrived without pomp and without ceremony. No introduction, no appointment, because he didn't need an appointment from man. He was on divine appointment.
Amen.
Elijah then said to Ahab, God says there'll be no rain for 3 years. And before Ahab knew it, Elijah was gone. He didn't wait around for a response because he was a man on a mission. After he did what God told him to do, there's no need to wait around and socialize. His job was done, so he got out.
Amen.
So now that the man of God did what God told him to do, everybody got angry with him. This doesn't make sense. When the sin of the nation rose to the level when God had to turn the water off, should they have gotten mad at the man who announced it to them? Or should they have been disturbed by the sin that caused it? Sometimes, trials are sent to get us to do some soul searching. Trials are not sent to tell God about ourselves. God already knows about us. Trials are sent sometimes to tell us about ourselves. The fact is, sometimes we forget that some trials come to give us a wake-up call. Wake-up call. Some trials come to get us to afflict our souls and identify the root of the evils that are in our lives. But instead of getting angry at the sin and the persons leading them into sin, they went searching for the one that God sent to warn them. They were intent on hunting down poor Elijah to take his life. As if taking Elijah's life will change God's mind. You can kill all of God's preachers, but God will still be God. His message will still be the same.
Amen.
The Bible does not change because of who you are. Truth does not change because you get angry at the bearer of truth. Truth is undebatable and truth will stand.
Amen. Amen.
In fact, if preaching should get somebody a little rattled at times. What's the point if we don't hear something that causes us to sit up and take stock spiritually? When you tell it like it is, you will ruffle some feathers. You will hear the critics. Listen to him. Listen to her, as if they're holier than thou. Instead of taking stock of their lives, they're running down the preacher and accusing him or her of preaching about them. That's why I'm going to tell the preacher my business and it's going to preach for me. Instead of taking stock of your life. So now they're angry at Elijah. That should have been their response. In Chronicles 7:14, it says, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, I will forgive their sin and heal their land. That should have been their response.
Amen.
We don't bother to read verse 13 sometimes, which says, if I shut up heaven, that there's no rain. Part of the problem that leads to repentance. God says, if you go against my will, it is my choice, my option to turn off the rain. But if you come to me and confess your sin and repent, I will hear and I will forgive.
Amen.
So what Israel should have done was to pray. But Ahab and the rest of Israel blamed the preacher, so much so that they sent people looking for him. You see, brethren, the enemy is after you, and you want to hide. So if you're going to hide, let God hide you.
Amen.
Sometimes God will hide you right before the enemy's eyes, and they can't see you. Sometimes he'll take you away like what he did to Elijah. God took Elijah and hid him by the brook Cherith and commanded ravens. In Jamaica we call them John Crow. He commanded the ravens to feed Elijah. At times we tend to worry about where our next meal will come from or where the funds will come from. But God, he will make a way out of no way.
Amen. Amen.
I am not saying that I would choose to be fed by John Crow, but if God chooses to use one, who am I to disagree? If we're hungry enough though, and I mean really hungry, I'm sure eventually the hunger would cause us to lose our scruples. We've all heard the expression, especially by the younger generation at times, I'm starving. I don't like those words, because I know that they're not starving. They just don't want to either be bothered about preparing something to eat, or they don't want what's prepared for them at home. They open the fridge or the cupboard, and if they can't find something quick or already made, then they say, oh, there's nothing here to eat. They haven't got a clue what real hunger or starvation is. But that's another story. Let's get back to Elijah. Remember, God said he was going to turn off the rain? So when the rain dried up, everything dried up. Eventually, the brook also dried up. Then God said to Elijah, go over to Zarephath. I've got a widow there who will feed you. When Elijah arrived, this poor widow was gathering up sticks to make her last little loaf of bread. I'm not talking about bread as we know it today, like Always 50-50 or King's Mill Granary. I'm talking about a little something, like what we used to have when we were growing up and things got hard. Who remember having roast dumpling as a child? Yes. All right. Some of you guys here don't have a clue what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when things got so bad when we were growing up. Our parents would use whatever was available at the time. Sometimes a little bit of cassava flour, a little bit of cornmeal mixed with some flour and some salt. She would then make that into a dough, and sometimes, most times, we don't have any cooking oil. So we had to roast it on the coal fire.
Exactly.
Once we roast it, then we have to take it off and get a knife and scrape off the bun, you know, the black part.
Yeah.
Scrape it off, and if you're lucky, you might get a bit of golden seal butter and rub over it.
The salt.
When you finally get to eat that dumpling though, man, nothing tastes so good because you're hungry.
Amen.
I will have you know that when you're hungry, and I mean really hungry, everything tastes good, even water.
Yes.
So here's the widow, about to make her last little Johnny cake for herself and her son, and the preacher showed up. You know, sometimes people can show up at the most inopportune time.
Yeah.
You're just about to have your dinner. You don't have enough to share for two. And you're about to sit down and enjoy your food, the doorbell rings. You peep through the peephole and see it's your neighbor. And you can't pretend you're not home because your car is parked outside. So you have no choice but to open the door to them, and they come in and they take a seat and appears to be in no hurry. You want to tell them, go, but you engage in small talk instead. All the time you want to scream, just go, let me eat my dinner. While your poor dinner is getting cold. The widow was about to eat her last cake for herself and her son, and then confine themselves to eventual death, which is a result of the drought. Now the preacher turns up and had the audacity to tell her, if you give me your last cake, then the Lord will make a way for you. What? Are you for real? You know how some of these preachers are full of self-importance and feel like everyone should be subservient to them? Only the best is good for them and they must be fed first at all times. But this widow, she must have been dedicated to God, because only when God gives an instruction that it trumps maternal obligations. Most mothers have strong obligations to their child or children and will always put them first. But God also requires our parents to take care of children. But God had a new priority. Sometimes God will require of us something that is not traditional. All we have to do is to be sure that it's God speaking to us. Unlike some of these prosperity preachers who tell you, give me your last dollar and it will be multiplied. Don't worry, go and eat the grass. God will turn it into rice. Be sure it's God that's speaking to you. Ironic to say, however, the Bible never mentions the little boy, who is the son. Did he have something to say about this crazy instruction? Did he object? I know most children nowadays will say, Mom, you can give the preacher your share, but I will have mine. This child must have been trained in the way of the Lord. So both mother and son agreed to the preacher's instructions, and they gave him the baked cake first. Because of their willingness to obey God's instructions above their immediate need, every time the widow went to the meal jar, there was a little more meal, a little more oil in the container, always enough for them.
Amen.
You notice how God did this miracle, little by little?
Yes.
Enough for each day's needs. You see, God knows best how to supply our needs.
Amen.
Some of us want a full supply. If God is going to give me something, He should give me all of it in one go. But sometimes, brethren, God gives us blessings in increments, so we'll learn to trust Him day by day.
Amen. Amen.
You also notice that God did not deliver food that was exorbitantly expensive to Elijah. Not that He couldn't, but God gave Elijah what was necessary to sustain him.
Amen.
Some of us want oxtail and rice and peas, when God is saying, no, I'm going to give you chickpeas and chapati, just enough to sustain you. So now we have the man of God hiding with the widow, and there's still no rain. The king was hunting for him, but God kept him. All the while, the people were in denial that Baal could still send rain. But try as they might, pray as they did, Baal couldn't answer because he's not God. There was still no rain. Now after the 3 years had passed, God sent Elijah to Ahab again. Go tell Ahab this time it's going to rain. The same prophet who went with the first message when the land was flourishing to inform him that there was not going to be no rain, this same prophet had to travel through a barren land that was ravaged by drought to tell him it's about time rain is going to fall. So when Elijah turns up, first he finds Obadiah, the keeper of the palace. Obadiah was out looking for water. Ahab was out looking for water, hoping against hope they'll find a well or a spring that still had some water in it. Obadiah went one way, Ahab went the other. But Elijah showed up and told Obadiah that he wanted to talk to Ahab. Obadiah must have thought, are you crazy, man? Ahab has been looking for you for 3 years without any luck. And now you show up saying you want to speak with him? Even crazier, you want me to deliver that message to him? And when I go and tell Ahab, you'll be disappeared because God is able to hide you again. What, you want to kill me? However, Elijah reassured Obadiah that all would be well. So he went and he told Ahab that Elijah wanted to talk to him. Ahab didn't hesitate because he was looking for Elijah for 3 years. So he came quickly with his army. He came with pomp and ceremony to capture a lone prophet. He felt big that he had the power, but only God had real power.
Amen. Amen.
Now, face to face with the elusive prophet, he tried to intimidate Elijah by accusing him the one who troubled Israel. Elijah wasn't intimidated by the king, and he didn't mix his words either. He said, no, you along with your fathers are the ones who troubled Israel. But that's not what I'm here to discuss with you. I'm here to tell you there's going to be rain. So you get your prophets and meet me on Carmel for the showdown. Ahab now went home to report to his wife, Jezebel. Yeah, that same one. And he told her what took place. How Elijah had ordered him, the king, to meet on Carmel. Jezebel wasn't having it because she thought that she had the upper hand and she had a plan to get rid of Elijah once and for all. So the 450 prophets, the 400 priests of Baal, the king, the queen, and all of Israel, those who should have known better but have turned their backs on God, everybody were gathered together on Carmel. All those people versus one lonely prophet. But he wasn't alone. Far from it. He had God and the host of heaven on his side.
Amen.
You see, brethren, Elijah knew long ago that 1 plus God is a majority. So Ahab and his host didn't frighten him.
Amen.
Elijah now threw down the challenge to Ahab and his priests. Since you're all here to prove who is God, let's see who the crowned God of all gods today. The one who answers by fire will be God. End of. In fact, God didn't have to prove anything to anyone because he's God and always will be God.
Amen.
But just to prove it to the Israelites, God showed up. So the challenge went out. Ahab accepted and the scene was set. You know the story. The priests and the people, they chose their bullock and they spent the whole day screaming, shouting, jumping, doing all sorts of acrobatics whilst Elijah was taunting them. That must have made them so frustrated and mad as Elijah was very sarcastic while he was just chillaxing and watching them making a fool of themselves. But no amount of screaming could rouse Baal because Baal was not God. One historian said that if it was possible, Satan and his angels would have tried to usurp God's power and sovereignty and allow fire to come down on the sacrifice. But God's angels who excelled in strength, were hovering over Elijah, and no effort of the devil could trump that.
Amen.
So at the end of the day, when they were hoarse, they were battered, they were bruised, they were tired from their antics, Elijah decided enough was enough, and he stepped up to the plate.
Yes.
Elijah took up the 12 stones that were formerly used to erect God's altar and repaired it because it was broken and misused. Elijah not only prepared his sacrifice by slaying the bullock and placing it on the altar, he requested water to be poured over the sacrifice and the altar as well. You see, brethren, sometimes God has to reveal himself in miraculous and extraordinary ways, so we can't take the credit for ourselves. When that happens, we are left with no choice but to acknowledge and to praise God and God only.
Amen.
Now after 12 barrels of water had soaked through the altar, the sacrifice, and filled up the trench that was dug around the altar, one man on one mountain looked and prayed to one God in order to prove to thousands that he was God.
Amen. Amen.
No sooner than Elijah said the amen, that a train of fire from heaven to Mount Carmel poured down upon the altar. It burned up everything: earth, water, sacrifice, stone, and wood, proving to everyone that this was an act of God, and that it was time for them to stop hovering between God and Baal and make up your mind.
Amen.
In this new postmodern era in which we live, some people think that information is everything. But when you get up the information superhighway, a broken heart will still be broken. If you were lonely, you'll still be lonely. A wound will still be a wound. You'll still be the same when you signed off as when you signed on. Information without activation and faith in the one and only true God will still leave us unfulfilled, and it eventually costs us eternal life. The challenge is simple. We need to make up our minds, because when we choose today a little bit of Baal and tomorrow a little bit of God, this will only lead to confusion. We need to be certain in our minds and confirm that God and God alone can be trusted.
Amen.
Without a shadow of a doubt, He's always been and always will be trustworthy.
Amen.
Elijah proved that God will come through for us, because if we have God on our side, we don't need anybody else.
Amen.
I may not know what your needs are today. You may not know what my needs are either. But one thing I do know is that if we put what we have in God's hand, the return dividends are more than we could hope for.
Amen.
And an equal bargain, for what God has supersedes what we will ever have or what we have. It's literally out of this world. So let us stop these indecisions. Let us decide today to choose God, because what He has done and what He will do for us far outweighs our greatest thought and imagination.
Amen.
Eye has not seen, ear has not heard what God has prepared for those who love Him. Trust God. Choose Him today. Choose wisely.
Amen. Amen.